Shatter Me series, what are you doing to me? I swear, every time I pick up a book from this series, I lose a little bit of my sanity and I love it. Hey everyone, we're back at it again. In last week's video, we talked about Shatter Me and Destroy Me, and today we're diving deep into Unravel Me, and I've got so much to say. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Imen. I'm a 21-year-old medical student from Tunisia, and I can't shut up about books. So I created this little corner of the internet so we can have raw, unfiltered, chaotic, but fun conversation about the books that consume us. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, we follow Juliette as she navigates her new environment. They are now at a mega point, an underground organization filled with gifted people such as herself, led by Castle, whose power is psychokinesis. And the whole situation reminds me of X-Men, but Tahira sprinkled a little more drama and high stakes along with some delicious romance on top of it. Now, Juliette Ferraz must control her powers. A war is coming and she needs to be ready. Training is going as badly as it can be. Everyone is telling her to focus as if it's some kind of magical advice, and it is understandably frustrating. She's holding on to what she believes is the only good thing left in her life, Adam. I think she gives him way too much power over her. You can't make someone your only source of happiness, the only thing that makes you feel alive. It isn't healthy, and it isn't realistic, and it puts too much pressure on Adam. Her regression in training mirrors her unwillingness to face who she truly is. She is clinging to that vulnerable side of her, claiming it isn't who she wants to be, but refusing to reconcile with the fact that maybe she is dangerous. Maybe she is powerful. It's not that Juliette can't control her powers, it's that she doesn't want to own it. Because what if control means becoming someone she's afraid of? She's going through an internal struggle, and it is affecting not only her, but everyone around her, and we'll see how. And having Adam withholding some key information isn't helping. The secrecy around his potential powers that allow him to touch Juliette and the whole testing him thing has driven Ferraz over the edge. When she sees him strapped in a room in pain while Castle is standing there calmly holding a notebook like it's a casual Saturday, it pushes her over a cliff and she breaks. She almost splits the ground in two, putting everyone in danger. And throughout these chapters, Kenji has been a much-needed comedic relief. He started somehow to get through to Juliette. She doesn't like to admit it, but he does make her laugh, and it does take her mind off the horrific things that happened and that could happen. He confronts her selfishness. He clearly states that her "I feel sorry for myself" mood is hurting everyone. It was very striking to me because thus far we had Adam glamorizing her supposed kindness and nudging her towards normalcy, or we had Warner idealizing her and blindly in love. To have someone point out her flaws straight to her face was not only important but necessary for her to actually move forward. He says, "I'm not your babysitter or your clown," and I love the boundaries that he set for himself. To have someone that brave and unflinching state what you hide from is a step towards healing. So yeah, I will die on this hill. Kenji is underappreciated, and Tahira needs to make him and Juliette a thing. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think Juliette deserves him. Not yet anyway. Do you guys think I'm projecting here? I mean, maybe I think Kenji is my dream guy and need to accept the fact that he might not be everybody's. But objectively, I think he has qualities necessary for a healthy relationship, regardless of preference. The man knows his worth, he's emotionally stable, he communicates his thoughts clearly and doesn't sugarcoat the sentiment. And he's funny, he seems like an almost perfect guy to me. What do you guys think? Going back to Juliette, she expresses how sorry she is, but while also holding on to this thought. How many times will you apologize for who you are? Here, I want to say I really understand her point of view. I understand her frustration. She is tired of being misunderstood, tired of being treated like a mess or a problem to fix. But you did just almost kill everybody, dear, so they have the right to be questioning you. You just need to stand up for yourself. Be sorry for your actions, but don't pity yourself, rather challenge it. Challenge that voice that keeps telling you you're worthless. Fight for who you are. Trust yourself, and in consequence, earn their trust. Moving on, the big secret is revealed. There's a long scene between Adam, Juliette, and Castle where they explain that Adam's powers neutralize hers. But because he can't control them, Intimacy becomes dangerous. She's been hurting him when he lets his guard down. The dialogue in that scene was, as usual, very much alive. I love the repetition and the way Tahira includes stuttering. Although Mafi doesn't shy away from poetic lines, she keeps her dialogue direct, which adds a crisp realism to the scene. Juliette, after being reminded of how monstrous she feels through splitting the ground, is facing yet again the danger of her powers. She's hurting her safe haven, draining Adam, making him sick, the only person thought to be immune to her. Adam is her humanity, the only person that symbolizes whatever normalcy she has left. So when faced with this gut-wrenching fact, she does what she thinks is best. She goes into protective mode. She can't lose Adam, not in this way. Adam says, "What about what I want? You're not asking me what I want." And I think it sums up the situation perfectly. Juliette thinks she's doing the difficult but right thing. In his eyes, her fear looks like surrender, like she's not willing to take a chance on their relationship. And as outside readers, it's too complicated a mess to say who's right and who's wrong. I get both sides. It's a painfully sticky place to be in. But what is done, and Juliette has made up her mind. She's breaking things off for good. Now that Juliette has lost her hope, her Adam, she keeps thinking of how truly similar she is to Warner. For maybe he wasn't that wrong after all. The thought of him is no longer crossed out, and there's a sort of empathy and understanding forming in her view of him. She describes him as man-boy person, and I cracked up because that is accurately reflective of who he is. He is truly that confusing. She says, "We are synonyms but not the same, because a quiet night is not the same as a silent one." And damn, that line goes hard. That is such a beautiful way to put it. And I don't want to sound like a broken record by now, but Kenji is again a very important person in all this drama unfolding. I'm gonna keep it short. Just know, guys, that he is the reason Juliette didn't give up, and he's the one calling the cops on her loud self-pity party. He's the one who holds her up to a mirror so she can take a hard look at herself. I hope all of this deep analysis we're doing is not blurring the fact that this book has some funny moments. Of course, led by Kenji, but also the whole dynamic of Brandon and Winston, the other members of Omega Point, brings light and fun not only to us readers and to the story, but to Juliette's life as well. The whole "put it out of your head, bro" moment in page 180 was hilarious. I could not stop smiling. Those who read the book know what I'm talking about. And to those who haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Okay, so you guys know Anderson, Warner's dad. Well, he's back. At this point of the story, he actually took Winston, Brandon, Ian, and Amory as hostages to use them as leverage to meet up with Juliette. That's when they have a little chat, things escalate, he orders his son to kill Juliette, Warner instead points a gun at his father, Juliette shoots Anderson in the legs, and instead of killing him, they take Warner as hostage. Adam sees Anderson on the floor, and the big bomb drops. Adam and Warner are brothers? I know, guys, I know. WTF is that, Miss Murphy? What? We don't even get a chance to digest that fact because we're in the middle of a war. Poor Kent, man. Give the guy a break from hard truths. First Juliette, now this. He deserves a breather. Then Juliette saves the day with her magical powers, so war is put on hold until further notice. And we're finally back at Omega Point. And when I tell you guys, things get juicy, I mean it. Kenji, Juliette, Adam, and Warner all under the same roof? We're definitely gonna get some moments with some delicious tension. Juliette, of course, is tasked with talking to Warner to extract some information about the establishment, and their conversations were pure entertainment. Remember, guys, Warner has her notebook, the one with all her dark, intimate thoughts. He starts by saying, "Do you have any idea how many times I've read this?" And Juliette finds herself listening to the words of her old self, a version she wished to forget. Warner becomes less of an obsessed maniac and more of someone who understands her pain and who, like Kenji, forces her to come to terms with the ugly parts of her. We see a subdued version of him, and he expresses that surrender when he says to her, "I'm so tired, love. I'm so very, very tired." And that line Warner says, I really wish you wouldn't waste your affections on someone who has to beg for your love. And then he turns to Adam and says, "How sad for you. This must be terribly embarrassing." And that "at least I still have my dignity" moment? Man, was that a hard stab in the heart, a punch in the guts. I mean, in reality, is he really that far off from the truth? I understand Adam's pain. It is a situation I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. He feels like he has to fight for love to earn it. But when does that line go from a charming attempt at love to pathetic? And Warner just added salt to the wound. Look, I'm not going to pretend that Warner isn't a sweet talker, because he is. He is smooth with his words. And did he win me over? I'm ashamed to say yes. Yes, he did. That whole scene in her room when he asked her to come with him, you guys know what I'm talking about. I bet you're smiling just thinking about it. It was chef's kiss. At this point, honestly guys, I said what I said. رقي as we Tunisians say, meaning my saliva has dried out from talking. They go to war against Anderson again, they lose miserably. Their headquarters were bombed, and everyone who wasn't at the war died, and then everyone who was at the war also died, except for Adam, Kenji, Castle, Brandon, Winston, Alia, Ian, and Lily. Juliette was shot by Anderson, but was saved courtesy of Sonia, Sarah, and Warner. I know, guys. I know. I don't want to get into it too much. You should read Unravel Me. It is amazing. And the book ends with a dispersed and broken Omega Point, or rather the handful of people left of it, and with Juliette hidden by Warner from his father. I'm ending this video here, and to echo Warner's sentiment, I'm tired, love. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I want unfiltered opinions, and I can't wait to read all about it. Stay tuned for next week's video covering Ignite Me. See you next time. Salam alaikum. Bye.